Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live. Come on in. Come on in. All right, y'all. I am had to get myself together. I got a coffee this morning. I was so mad because it was not good. Hold on, let me- I can't focus right. Who's on? Who's on? Is the mic on? Is the mic on? I think it is. I think it is. I think we're good. I think we're good. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our conversation today. Can you hear me? If you can give me a one or hearts, let me know if you can hear me. Is the mic on? Substack got you over here. YouTube is over here. Let me know if you can hear me well. All right. So YouTube is saying yes. Thank you, YouTube. Substack, I don't know. Substack, y'all was really dry yesterday. I'm gonna need for y'all to pick it up. I'm gonna put y'all on probation because we needed y'all to be live because YouTube was live yesterday, honey. It was on point. But again, I know that y'all are working. I already know you mad because we working too. I understand. I understand, but sometimes you gotta join in the party every now and then. But welcome. Welcome, welcome. So, Substack, I'm assuming that y'all can't hear me because nobody said anything. So, do y'all need to come over to YouTube? Because nobody said anything. Is this thing stuck? Look, is this stuck on a setting that that I can't? You know what? I think it's. Let me go out and come back in Substack. Okay. I think I had it on a setting on. Oh, okay. All right, y'all. Hold on. Let me get this straightened up. So we're gonna talk about this 5 million to get married. Um, and this is gonna be an interesting conversation because buyer behavior is also gonna be discussed today to prepare for 2026. Okay, to prepare for 2026. This is where you need to really get yourself together. Get yourself together ASAP. Because this is really where this is it. So when we start looking at some of these pieces in terms of what it takes to actually have a life here in the States, and I've always told people this is not against the institution. This is not against um because like I said, I am somebody who actually supports marriage. I support the institution. I want people to have exactly what they want. I think that's very important. And I know that they push this stuff. It's an institution, of course, but I do know that they push it because of, you know, everything points to the money. Everything points to the money, period. Like everything points to the money. Everybody with me? Everything. In here in this country, everything points to, okay? There's a reason for everything. Even when they pass these different laws, even when they talk about healthcare, even when they talk about retirement, even when they talk about investments and all of these things, everything points to the money. So when y'all ask these things like, oh, is it about our basic rights and we should have a basic necessity? It's always about the money. It's always about the money. Always. Birthright. Yep. Sean, about the money. It's always about the money. I think I know what I did, y'all, on Substack. That's why y'all can comment. I'm sorry. I think I did a setting by mistake and forgot to change it back. But I know why. I know why. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all just have to look. Um, so Cammy came over and she said, I couldn't comment on Substack, so I came over to YouTube. So when she said that, I was like, a light bulb went on, like, girl, you forgot to change the setting back. Dang it. I'm sorry, y'all. But y'all can watch. Y'all can watch. But if you want to comment and be a part of the conversation, come on over to YouTube. Come on over to YouTube. So thank y'all. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Um, so let's just get into the conversation. Um, when it comes down to the money, right? Marriage is a money grab. It's money, right? It costs to get married, it costs to divorce, it costs to have children, it costs, right? This is all feeding the institution. So when you go and you turn in a marriage license, it's money. Okay, everything leads to that. When you are want to get divorced, it costs money. In fact, it costs more money. You're penalized for leaving your spouse than you are to get, because it's cheaper to get married, because all you need is the license, to sign the license. And it's a couple of, depending on what state you're in. Tennessee is, I think, well, and it's coming from somebody who got married a long, long time ago. I don't know what the costs are now, but I know in Tennessee it was under $100 to get a marriage certificate. Now, unless it didn't double and tripled, I don't know. But it's gonna cost you, it's gonna run you. So when you hear about the costs, and and look, and this is not 5 million a year, because it used to be 2.8. It was $2.8 million over a lifetime to get married. Investopedia did a study recently about the cost of the total lifetime value of marriage. Okay, to the American dream, as they call it. So, the American dream consists of, obviously, marriage, two children, right? That's the American nuclear family model, because it's a model. Did y'all know there's a framework? You understand? There's a framework involved. See, you got to study this stuff, because some of y'all just be like, I just want to get married. There's a framework in place. This is why they want you young and don't know anything. But America has a model that they follow. So it's a nuclear family. So two children, get a house. Okay. I'm not factoring in land. I'm not factoring in vacation homes. I'm not factoring in investment properties and all this stuff. I'm just talking about the model of the American dream. Okay, which has now changed. Is now gonna run you. And then you got to think about in retirement. You have to think about vacations, because you got to take the kids somewhere. That's why I said you got to think about all this stuff when y'all talking about you want children and you want, okay, new cars. So when you hear men talk about, and I love men, I love men, I love you, I really do. But when it comes down to these men wanting all this stuff, make sure that they understand the numbers. Make sure they know how to crunch some numbers. And see, these are all things and conversations that you need to be having when y'all go on these dates. I'm talking to the single women now. You need to like have some conversations. Like, do you know how much especially when they start talking about, because I need you to let these men talk. Okay. Y'all need to start shutting up and stop asking them interview questions, men telling themselves, and see how you can just slip it in. When they start talking about, "I wanna settle down, I want a family," I said, "Okay. Have you done the numbers on that? Have you crunched the numbers on what they look like?" "What you mean?" "Mm-mm." "If you don't even know what I'm talking about, this ain't gonna work, brother. This ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work." Mm-mm. 'Cause how you want something and you don't know how much it's gonna cost? Now, if he says, "Yes, yeah, I've done the math. I've done the numbers. I've looked and I was able to, put them all together and I know what it takes." "Okay, so what did you come up with?" That's the next question. I'm just curious. What did you come up with? You ain't trying to see how you fit into his world. You just trying to get a consensus of what he knows. Cause see, I'm gonna go back to what society says. Society says that men are leaders. I didn't agree with that. I'm not saying I agree, but I'm saying if the American dream means that the man is the head of the household, that means he ought to know something about some numbers. Would you agree? Okay. Start thinking about this stuff. Even if you are married and your husband be saying all this stuff and we need to do this and we need to do it, the numbers have to matter. They have to. And I know you want all this extra stuff, but it matters. So let me just that's I hate for y'all to get with people and y'all just be we gotta save for our wedding. Red flag number one, two, and three. You off, you already off. Cause you're talking about saving for a wedding. You already behind. I saw somebody on, I forgot was it my mom had me watching this past weekend, Bell Collective and Sanjay mama was about to marry this man and he went and bought a boat. And she was like, "Well, we gotta save for this wedding. I gotta get my dress and da 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 and all this other stuff." And he was just sitting there. And I was like, "Oh, well, he ain't trying to get married." Sometimes you're asked to get married for economic purpose for him. It's not for a family. Because there are men that want families and want to be husbands. And then there are men that want you to just be a wife and a mother. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between the two. And so when you have these conversations with people that you're dating, and because it also affects how you show up in your business. Because if you have someone who is not investment minded and they only want to stay in this little bubble of middle class to saving to just doing the absolute bare minimum just to have this home so they can do the absolute least in, this is also part of that. You have to be very careful and conscientious about who you lay down with because and y'all got to get out of this behavior of I just, he doesn't want much. He doesn't want, he's okay. He's a good man, Savannah. Does he know the numbers though? Does he understand it? These are all questions that need answers. I got to sit down and think about what are you saying, sir? And Tanika, Tanika said, if the man was the head of the household, it's a reason why we've been witnessing destruction in our household. There's a reason for that. There's a reason. And it goes back to what I said about you've got to understand where we're at as a society, where we are. This is a different breed. We're in a different time. This is not the same. We're in a different era. And we're in the AI era now. So all this, I want to be this and I want to have the marriage of my dreams. I want you to manifest the love of your life. I do. And this is what I was saying in my TikTok video. I want you to have what you want. I want you to have the love that you desire. I want you to have the marriage of your dreams if that's your desire. And there's nothing wrong with it because I know TikTok has this campaign going on where women don't want you to be married. They don't want you to have a man in your life. Because they've spent so much time warning women about men and the nature of men, but they also haven't taught about what to look for and what to sense and and how to behave, how to manage yourself. Because, like I told you, you got to understand the nature of men. And this, no matter if he's good or bad, it doesn't matter. I don't care about that. The nature of men is a common thread. It has to benefit him. Period. And even if he wants to keep you happy, even if he wants to make you happy, it's for his benefit. This is why sometimes, like when y'all be starting these businesses and you have a husband and all this kind of stuff, you need to sit your husband down and tell him what you want to do. And you need to be very firm about what you want to do. Men do not respond well to, like, they respond two ways, right? So when you want to get something, when you want something from a man, of course you turn on this soft voice. Honey, I'm telling you, I know how to do all that. I know how to do all that. And then you have what you want. You have what you want and then what you want. There are two different wants. There's two different tones. And there's honey, I want this. And then it's, I want this. I really want this. I'm gonna tell you how you differentiate. Because the firm what you want, when you gotta look at them, this is what I want. You know why you gotta firm that up? Because that means you mean business. And it's outside of his comfort zone. You're pulling him into your world because this is what I want, and it's outside of your comfort zone. And you got to be okay with elevation of who I am coming out of that, even down to a big purchase. It could be a house, it could be a car, it could be something like, I really want this. That's why you have to turn on siren eyes every now and then. You turn on your doe eyes. You're pretty when you want something that's in his comfort zone that he can go and get because it benefits him. You know, it's feeding his ego. You right with me? But when it's serious, this is what I want. You got to start thinking about the feminine parts. So, femininity is not just cute, puffy sleeves and pearls and lace and honey. Femininity is also about looking a man square in the eyes. I don't have my lashes on. Lashes mess with me sometimes. But when I'm dealing with a man, I make sure, and if I want something to turn on the eyes. I learned this from a woman that is an African woman in Texas when I lived in Texas. And I remember I'm insert this here. I'm gonna insert this here. We're gonna get back to the conversation. She said, turn your eyes on. I was like, what? And she said, you have beautiful eyes. I was like, thank you. And I think it's because I have a slight slant. And then I raise my eyebrows up when I'm serious about something. And and so I know that my eyes are a secret, what is it called? A secret weapon, right? So she told me, dress your eyes up. Not too much. She said, but dress them up with just, she said, not big lashes, not super fake. Like she said, make sure they're natural. And she said, "Look a man." She said, "There's two ways to look at a man. You look at him under, and then you look at him under." So it's dressing your eyes up and then looking him in his face. Women have a way. This is why I say you ain't gotta raise your voice because we're talking about getting in, like, you're in the world, you're not of it. You're in the world, you're not of it. If you can energetically, hey Sasha, if you can energetically overcome the man's, because you can have whatever you desire. It's just, are you ready to learn the nature of that? Because we're talking about 5 million minimum, and you're talking about forever, being with someone forever. You better learn how to master. Can I just insert this here? Let me insert this here. American Black women. Let me help you, because see, you weren't taught. You weren't taught. I was telling a friend this the other day. American Black women, you were not taught. Okay, you weren't taught to be a wife. And I'm talking about collectively. We were not taught. You were not taught the nature of men. You were not taught how to get what you want. So even in the realm of business, you were not taught to get what you want. That's why a lot of y'all don't ask. You don't want to shake the tree. You don't want to mess up your foundation. My husband been there for me, and I just feel like that I asked it. What are you talking about? You keep asking. You keep telling them, and it's really not asking. You can command in the form of a question. You're talking about 5 million minimum. They may need to be busy. See, this is the thing though. This is the thing. When we're talking about the country, when we're talking about understanding the nature, when we're understanding the system, when we're understanding that there's many layers to the system, there's many layers to the system. Okay. And it's the more layers you go down, the darker it gets. So you got to be careful too. So when you what you know is what you know. So American Black women, let me say this to you. You got to stop loving men like you love children. That man is not your son. This is why y'all are so soft, even with your boys. Even if you're a single mom, two boys. I know single moms that raise some very good boys. I know some. They were not easy on them. And I love it. There are some that are very easy and oh my husband's son. And then they grow up and be weak. You gotta be careful. Cause sometimes they don't have a leadership bone in their body. That's why I said, thank God I didn't have a boy. Cause if I would have had a boy, first of all, he would have went to go live with his daddy when he was 12, 13. I would have made that a rule. And if the daddy was not mentally there, okay, I would do the best I can, but I would definitely be hard on him. Okay, discipline, right? And then he would take his tail to the military. I'm not saying that you have to do that, but I'm gonna tell you why it's important. They need to learn discipline, and and feminine energy is, and then it needs to be restored too, because you have to be restored as a single woman, as a single mother who and look, I don't like calling myself a single mother. I call myself a single woman with a child. because there's no such thing really as a single mother, but I'm saying it because that's the lingo, right? And we understand it. It's Sean, that's me. That's because this is a channel which you watching for free, and this advertising dollars, boo. So you just gotta just do the skip. She said, "How do we stop the ads in the live?" That's me. Amen. Somebody, y'all better understand. Platform monetization. Just look, Mr. What you say, Sean? I missed the punchline. No, it's it's platform monetization. Just click skip. That's all you gotta do. If it skips, just press skip, y'all. This is how this is how YouTube be giving me the coins. Amen. Somebody. If you subscribe, will it stop? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But only subscribers can chat. Y'all look. I didn't realize they having it. It does. It does. I'm telling y'all, this is how look. I need to do a live on that on monetization because then you'll understand it too. Because when you go live on YouTube, you'll want to turn it on. Trust me. Amen. Somebody. Because y'all gonna understand. This is time. It's a good discussion. Absolutely. It's a new feature to just add to the Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about that. No more no. That was good. That was good. So when it comes down to getting these men together, because you're talking about a lifetime. You're talking about a lifetime. Marriage is a commitment. It's a commitment, right? It's a covenant. Let them tell it. Okay. It's a covenant. So, which means that it is a for better or for worse ordeal because this is a capitalization of order. This is it's order, right? So you gotta think about the order of things. But this is how you shift the energy. You make that man think he is in charge. If you're gonna go by that route. Right? Because there are women that say, I still want to get married. I want you to get married. I do. I think it's a wealth machine. It's supposed to be anyway. It's a wealth machine. But you got to have somebody who actually thinks about abundance. You cannot have somebody that is very, very low mind, very cautious about things. Oh, we got to save up for this. And there's nothing wrong with saving up for things, but that it has to get done. It can't be 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Get it done. And look, a man will invest in what he believes in and what he loves. So when y'all try to, well, I don't want him to feel like, shut your mouth. That's not your child. And this is how you keep men busy. See, are you trying to get the load off of him to go do what? He need to always be busy. He need to be working. He need to be working. That's why I said when men be online and just be talking and arguing with other like just and there's nothing wrong with him being online, but if he ain't selling nothing and if he is not progressing and all this kind of stuff, it's just a waste of time. What is he doing? What do you do all day, sir? Because if you're not getting paid to do this stuff, that's concern for me. That's a concern because this affects me. Because how am I supposed to feel safe and secure to be who I am? And you're not taking care of business. Don't y'all make excuses for these men. Now that's one thing I don't know about everybody. See, I learned from men. Men taught me over the years. And this is why I tell people I had a dad in the home. I grew up with a dad in the house. I did. I thank God for that. Because my dad, even though my dad did not teach me per se about relationships, he taught me how to treat a woman, right? He opened doors for us. He told us not to touch trash. He was like, "You don't need to be taking no trash out. You get a man." That's how he was. He was like, "You don't touch no trash. You don't touch no door. You understand?" Yes, sir. Okay. That's how, and he did that for my mom. He cooked in the house. That's why I said, like, I had a dad that worked 2, 3, 4 jobs to make sure we were good. I don't know about these men right now. I don't know what that is. So the model that I had was how I dealt with men. I would stand outside the door until the man opened it up. I'm not touching it. I didn't have any problems except for maybe 1 or 2 times, and the men, and when I say problems, that means the men were like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm waiting on you to." Oh, and then they'll come open it. And one guy was like, "So you just gonna stand here?" I was like, "I got a daddy. I got a daddy. My dad don't do this." This is why sometimes they don't want you to, if they know, right? If they know that you have a daddy, sometimes they treat you anyway that they want to, because they see, when we're talking about that, this is why fathers give away the child, because there's a standard. Okay, there's a standard that the father sets, and when they see that the daddy treat the woman right and all of that, it starts to measure them up. She's used to this, but sometimes when the girl allows the man to, what is it called, allows a man to lack and to get lazy and to do the bare minimum, because she doesn't want this man to feel inadequate, so she would rather say, like, "Oh, well, it's not that bad, it's okay, you can do it, it's okay." That woman ends up having a horrible, horrible future, because it's in direct contrast to what she's been raised in, and don't go nowhere, and then she end up coming back home. So, Sean said, my ex-husband thought those things. Oh, thought those things. Dad was there. My ex still opens my door to this day and gets upset when I open it. Yeah, absolutely. Tanika said, if men don't have multiple jobs with increasing consistent streams of income, I don't want them, because it's a safety thing, and it's because if a man has to feel valued. You just got to think about the nature and how men are acting right now. The value of men are going down. I told y'all, when men don't have anything to do, they feel very, very less than. And then they go and search for ways to matter. This is why, like, I remember my pastor said this, my old pastor from Houston. And I remember he told me, he said, men cannot be by themselves and do nothing. He said they can't do that. Women can do it all the time. He said women do it masterfully. Like, you can be by yourself and actually be by yourself. You don't have to date to feel whole and complete. He said, but men have to have someone. And it messes with me sometimes because they want to feel needed. And there is something off, in my opinion, when I hear a man say that I want to feel needed. They would rather feel needed than wanted. Did you know that? Women would rather feel wanted than needed. Think about the energy of that. So when we're talking about 5 million over a lifetime, talking about getting married and having children, all this kind of stuff, I told a friend of mine too that this is why it's important when y'all say y'all want children. You it's not always enough to say I want to be a mom. You know what you need to start thinking about? If I'm going to have a baby, I'm having a baby for him because it's your baby. You with me? That's your baby. But is it enough? Because you live in a capitalist society. This is not just I want to have a baby because you want to feel loved by somebody who's not giving that back to you. And you think that that baby is going to bring you two together. And that's not the case. This is why a lot of people split after children come into the picture because women become something different when they have babies. And men are not ready for that. I'm gonna take it. Can I say this? And I don't know if this is gonna get scraped or what. Men are not. Men don't. Trying to see how to put this. A lot of men. I'm gonna say a lot. I'm gonna say I ain't gonna say all. A lot of men don't want women. Let me make sure I think about what I'm saying. What is a woman? A woman is someone who carries the essence of the what? Feminine. Just because you're a female doesn't mean you're a woman, right? It's just woman is the essence of the feminine. Okay? Of the this is why um it's so important that when a woman is mature, she becomes a woman. Thank you for oh, that was sweet of you. F Disney. Say, I think you have a better outlook on having a family than you want. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that. A lot of men are not ready for a woman. Let me make sure I say that correctly because I don't want men to feel if men are watching it because sometimes they sneak and watch my stuff. It's about the maturity because when a woman comes into herself, she has, and this is why they say things like, the baggage, and uh she has baggage and she has but it's called I have experience. It's experience. This is why when you get to a certain age, you start thinking that the biological clock. And Sasha, I'm so glad you brought that up yesterday about the young lady on when you did that piece of content, that video where this young lady was 25, 26 years old, and she said, "Is it too late for me to try for a baby?" And in 2025, like Sasha said, that women are still thinking that 25, 26, going until 30 years old is old. What? I'm 42 years old. I'll be 43. I'm still regular, regular, like clockwork. New moon, every new moon, I'm on. What is today? New moon. That's why I've been in the bed. when I did my when I did the podcast yesterday, I was in the bed. There was a reason for that. There was a reason for that. So new moon is when right? So so full moon is what? Ovulation. Like clockwork. You know why? Because I give a crap about what I eat. I keep my stress down. Okay? I take care of myself. So even if I say, which I'm not, because I'm not having no children, even because I have one, that's enough. That's all I got. That's all I got strength for. I promise you, that's all I got. This God gave me one. That was it. But I have to think about the man because I don't do. I want a baby so bad. I just want another baby. Do you know how many women go through hell with the baby daddy alone? And I'm not saying there baby mamas out there that don't take their baby daddy through hell. I don't know that. I don't know that life because I'm not a man. Because I know that you can make the life of the mother so much easier when you are there for your child and there, not when you want to just pop in and pop out. You are there to be the because what is the masculine? The masculine is what? Structure. Supposed to be anyway. Structure. Okay? Structure and discipline. So if I can't tell my child, your daddy gonna get you. I'm telling your daddy. And that baby straighten up, there's a difference. Because the child, because you got the holy family. It's the father, the son. I mean, I'm sorry, the father, the mother, and the son. My bad. The mother is the intuitive. The mother is the nurturer. The mother is the caretaker and the educator of a man's lineage. If you're gonna be in a family, you better know what you're doing. And that's why I said these men better have stuff going on. What are we doing? What am I training these children up for? To build another man's wealth? To build another man's legacy? What are we doing with these kids? What are you leaving behind? Don't you know there are men that will leave this planet and not leave their children anything? When their Bible that they love so much says that a good man leaves an inheritance to their children. So before you open your mouth and lie, there's a good man. Is he leaving something for these children? I don't care about him opening the door for you, take you out to dinner. Does he take care of his children? See this is the silly right here. This silly. He said his ex don't keep him away from the children. Ask him why. If it's something everything that she do, if it's all her, that's a problem. Never believe one side of the story. Because you don't know what that woman went through with that man. Let me tell you some women got emotional management things that they have to do. And you mean to tell me that I got to sit up here and manage my emotions and the emotions of these children? Do you know this is why this is the sacrifice. Now, let me go back to myself. I'm divorced, right? I'm divorced. I'm very transparent about that, right? So, I've been down the road of marriage twice. I'm transparent about that too. I've been through the stories and the self narratives of maybe something wrong. It ain't nothing wrong. It wasn't nothing wrong. And I don't regret my decisions because I left. That's why I told you, baby, I would leave. I'm a leaver. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But I will say this too. I will say this 100%. When it comes down to making me an accountable, this is their game. Marriage is a man's game. And if you're inviting me to be on your team, you better make sure I'm protected and provided for. Do you understand me, sir? You're not finna waste my time. And then my body is gonna change. The woman's body changes after she gives birth. Her body changes. Your body produces milk. Your body rearranges itself to accommodate a human being that's growing. And then enduring the pain of birthing out that soul into this realm. So this is you are a direct portal from unseen to seen. Are you kidding me? and you almost lose your life on the table or wherever you having a baby at. And you mean to tell me that you gonna keep having babies for a man that ain't giving you what you need? Are you what? A lot of men are not ready for that conversation. This is why they see the woman in a different light when she has a baby, because that's something that is almost ceremonial. That is a ceremonial preparation for that. The man has to prepare themselves to have a family. That's a mental thing, because having you was enough, right? But bringing you, and then priority shift from him to the child. So when the woman was, giving him all the attention, it was fine. But now there has to be a separation of attention, or a division of attention, because now this woman has what, a baby to raise. But this is the gag. Who's all here? Who's still here? Give me some hearts if you're still here. The focus now, if that man doesn't have things happening and there is no integrity and there is no honor and there is no understanding of what he is building for a family unit, he is not going to feel quote unquote appreciated. He's not going to feel connected to that child because he doesn't have anything going on. So when I say things like 5 million for a lifetime value to have a family, if a man is not ready to invest 5 million plus into a family that has his namesake, then why are you sitting up there trying to save for a dress? Why are you trying to build a business? For him to take it? Sean, what she said? She said he was bringing in the Bible order, God, him, then child. See, because there's no connection. There's no connection. A lot of times men don't have a connection to the child, because think about the masculine, right? The masculine, they have to see it to believe it. So when y'all are stuck in your masculine, and I'm not trying to bring the masculine feminine energy conversation up, but just think about that. When women operate in their masculine more than their feminine, it's because they have to see it to believe it first. You got to be careful of that. And you ain't got to have no baby to even have that type of energy. Even when it comes down to your goals, Jesus, when it comes down to your goals, when it comes down to your vision, when you say that you want something, you believe it. You know it. Now, it ain't even about believing, it's knowing. I'm hollering now. Let me calm down. It's really about knowing before you see it. Because knowing is reality. This is why when women get pregnant and they know. That's why I say all this stuff talking about I ain't know. Yes, you did. Stop lying. You just didn't want people to know. There's a difference. Because I'm telling you now, I will be. Let me be transparent again. I've had 3 miscarriages, 2 before Maddie, and 1 after her. And I told the one after her, I was like, you gotta take this back. I meant that. Now, this was years ago. Maddie's 17 going on 18. But baby, I was like, God, I'm sorry. Cause me and our dad was having issues, and I was like, you kidding me? And baby, I guess God said, okay. Okay. Cause my energy was not ready. Do you know how crazy I'd be right now with 2? Cause this happened, Maddie wasn't even 1 yet. And I got pregnant again. I threw that pregnancy test to him. I said, he was like, you pregnant? I just rolled my eyes and walked off. like I didn't have anything to do with it. But I'm saying these things. I'm saying these things because there has to be honor attached to this stuff. It's an honor. You look at that man and you get so turned on, you be like, that's why I said when women say things like, I'm giving this man a baby. I understand. Thank you for the see that's what I'm saying, sewing, baby. That's when you getting your feminine when offerings start happening. Yes, yes. This is what I'm saying. This is what listen to what I'm trying to tell y'all. When it comes down to masculine, you push. You push and you want I want him to do this for me. I need to perform. I need maybe if I do this. This is why everybody be asking like Sheeran them. And I love Sprinkle Sprinkle, by the way. I love her. I love her. She there's some things I agree with her on. There's some things that kind of, but there's a lot of things that. But this is the thing. You have to understand that the man is. This is his game. You got to ask yourself: is he playing it? Because this is where you come in, woman. You have to step in and say, are you going to be the muse for him? Because this is really what it is. You need to figure out if you're gonna be the muse for him or you just his emotional regulator. There's a difference. See, wives have a responsibility. Either you're gonna be his emotional regulator or you're gonna be his muse. I don't want to be an emotional regulator for a man. I don't ever want to do that. It's supposed to be a muse for him. If he don't get up every day and be like, I gotta make this woman some money, I gotta get these kids. A man's supposed to be motivated, inspired by the woman in his life, which is also why there is a need for the woman to, in some regard, be the inspiration, have the glow, have the essence. This man allows this, he provides the house, she is the home. You understand? The ease and the freedom. So even when it's coming down to your business, you are creating money for the supplements because you are a person too, right? You have dreams and desires, so he has to allow you space. So when I hear women, and I've heard this over time, I've heard clients say this. I've heard clients, and not many, but I've had clients to say, my husband told me that I'm working too hard on my business. I was like, what does that mean? I said, does he work for someone? They'd be like, yeah. Are y'all okay? Yeah. But, you know, he said that I need to be focused some more on the family. That's fear. That man is scared because I told women this too. If you had your head together, this is why they're trying to take businesses and shake the economy so bad to shake you because when women get their head in the game and they start building for real, you are unstoppable. This is what they want to avoid. Because when a woman is in her power and she becomes a muse, she becomes an activator. You can't stop a woman that knows her power. You cannot. And it bothers men sometimes because they want that, but they don't know how to get it. It has to be in you. And a provider is someone who just doesn't provide the funds, he provides space. I give credit where credit is due. My second ex husband, we didn't have any children together. But I will say this, when I had my recruiting agency, because some of y'all know I had a recruiting agency that was actually really successful before my coaching business. And he went and got me a desk. He polished it up, painted it, all of that, surprised me with it, gave me a desk chair, got me a new computer. Um, and it was something else he had got, whatever. But anything, to set me up because this was what I wanted to do. And then he told me, he was like, quit your job and focus. I got it. You just do you. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to say is that they provide space because, again, he benefits, but he doesn't benefit if he doesn't understand the power of family. Because, see, you have men that want a family, but a man of honor understands the power of a family. But you also have to understand your power, lady. Because there's a lot of women that think that men are their retirement plan. You enhance. This is 2025. This is not 1960s where houses were $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. This is not the reality. So when women are advertising and marketing soft life to you, that's not a reality in some cases. The man has to be very wealthy, and the woman is doing something like nonprofit, or she's doing something. I guarantee you, every wealthy, don't let these women get on here and fool you that they just sit and eat bonbons all day. That's not what they're doing. Wealthy women, wealthy wives, I guarantee you, I promise you, they are not laying around doing nothing. They're doing something. They are heading up some type of nonprofit. They're doing event planning. They're doing something. They're not laying around. They're busy. They're going to meetings and volunteering in different things and going to different galas and stuff, like they're raising money and all these other, they're doing something. They don't have to have the quote unquote stress and woes of financials because they're doing other things, because they're self-actualized. Some of them are coaching, some of them are counseling, some of them are, doing some like consulting, but they're doing something. I promise you they're doing something. If they're creating content, they're doing something. They're not just laying around because you're a human being, right? With a soul that came here to do whatever it is that you're doing. But you got to have the space to do those things. The masculine provides space. Everybody with me? Retirement, children. So these things take honor. It takes respect for the feminine. When that woman has a baby, that person that you are with has to be able to understand that you're not the same person. You're not the woman that he married, unless y'all already had kids and he wants to make it right. See, and there's a thing of, if you had children before and then he wants to get married, the attempt and the intent is to claim a family. He just didn't do it beforehand, but he understood, like, I got to make this right. Let me get myself together. So, because a man has to be able to handle, and the what is it called, the crap that they're fed with is that women will say, well, we don't need no man, or I don't need a man. They're translating as, I don't need you, I don't need the man. No, it's the fact, I don't want the stress if you're gonna bring it to me and you're not prepared to handle what I've already walked through. Cause see, I already got a life. And if you're coming in to disrupt it, please don't come this way. And a lot of men are not ready to understand that, because a lot of them come with chaos because they don't have themselves. They don't even know what they want marriage for. That's why I said, start asking me and why. Why do you want to be married? And they just stop because they don't know. Now, if they start saying things like stability and I just want some, you just have the home to come to. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. That's not gonna work for me. because that's a choice. You that's already, but it's this is where it comes down to. That man sees you because he's built a life for himself. See, a man got to be already built up. He got to already have stuff going on. It's not a I'm gonna get somebody and I'm gonna do it. No, 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 no. It's I already done this. I now it's time for me to add. And he sees a woman in her own honor that has been able to understand herself. That's why I said take a special man to have a woman that knows her power. You really got to be you a bad man if you can handle a woman, baby. And I'm talking about the essence of it. The essence of a woman. Not a little girl in their head and because guess what? They think it's young. It's no, it's pedo. It's pedo energy. I need men. People got to check that. Go to therapy about that. There's something off about that. What's wrong with, you like what you like, go to therapy. Mm-mm. And the reason why, even with women, when they get older in their late 30s, 40s, and they go older because of maturity, it's a maturity conversation. It's a maturity energy. And a lot of times, too, women, when they're feminine, they want the masculine. They want the masculine. They want that. The understanding that they have is that they want that women don't want to be in relationships. No, it's not that. It's not always that. Now, some women don't want to be in one and don't want any children. I think that's completely okay. That's just totally fine. But there are also the women that say, I'm not going to go through the foolishness. You're going to have to show. And a lot of men don't have time for that. They want this is why they go to women who have the least experience in life and put them through the ringer. Because that woman's gonna have a story too. When she comes into herself, she gonna find out. No, you come with peace. Because the feminine, there is some chaos. A woman ain't always controlled. This is what brings men to their knees sometimes because they love a little chaos. They love a little chaos. And sometimes women don't do it for them like that because women have been through their ups and downs, but we know how to cause chaos when we need to. But see, the kind of chaos they enjoy is the going off. And this is why I say with black going to American black women real quick. Sometimes you remind the black man of the mother because you're too mothering. You're too mothering. I've told you that. Go look on some of these Facebook memes and posts of men that's like been in jail or that's and see the comments. You can come stay with me. You can come stay. This mother son energy. That's off to me. Why you want to do that? And we wonder why. A lot of women are stuck in at 16, 17 years old. They're stuck because they have no understanding of even what they're doing. It's a mothering thing. And it this bleeds into other areas of your life. It bleeds into business. It bleeds into making excuses for yourself. It bleeds into I want somebody to handhold me. I'm looking at, oh, Coach Jay is like a mom to me. No, I'm not a mother. I'm a coach. I'm a strategist. I have great mother energy. There's a difference, but mothering is not something that I do. And so sometimes when women get offended when I'm coaching them on something, and because I'm offending them and saying, "Oh, well, I don't think that," because I'm challenging them. And a lot of times when women have toxic femininity, they don't want to be challenged. They want to stay in the excuses category. And this is why they don't want to be challenged. And this is what comes with a self actualized man. There's a lot of women ain't ready for that. That's why you feel like you got to get ready for that. Girl, I gotta get my money game up. No, you get your money game up to take care of you and put yourself in places where you can be exposed to higher caliber or high quality men. That's what you do, and you work on yourself. You invest in yourself for for self-actualization for you, not to get a man, to be in spaces and social climbing. That's social climbing is much more important for a woman than for you to do all these things to get a man. It's not about leveling up to get a man, it's leveling up to be in a social climbing atmosphere where you can be exposed to different connections to actualize yourself. And then if you come into the presence of the one who sees you in a different light, in a better light, then you can have a conversation. This is why women need to make money that desire to do those types of things. You need to be making money and being in spaces and shut your mouth when it comes down to what these men be saying to you. Oh, you big shot. Well, I didn't. Shut your mouth. What do you have, sir? Because if you're more impressed by what I do, that's a red flag in itself. You impressed? What do you have going on? And then he starts stuttering. Go back to the numbers. 5 million. 5 million over a lifetime. Minimum. And that number is going to change as time goes on. Women learn how to make money. Stop sitting on your gifts and talents. Stop sitting on that. And then you hear, there's another thing that some women will say. They'll say things like, well, coach, it's men that say they don't care about money. What are you talking about? Because if I make money, the man ain't gonna want me. Girl, you sound like a fool. Think about what you're saying. The men who are telling you that are men that are not actualized. They're looking for little girls that they don't have to do much with. That's why I always go back to, like, marriage is a wealth sport. Like Jeff Bezos and 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 look at wealthy men that are married, right? Men of means who are married, most of their women have education. They're they have had businesses. They have businesses. There are men that have wives that are educated and have sense and they have experience. And you know what they did? They had to learn strategy. Lauren invested in a courtship coach. Sierra did the same thing. These women invested. They went and spent money. So this is why when y'all talk about I'm not spending no money to go, that's why you looking buck out every time you give us somebody. My daughter, she will be she will have a coach for that. I can only give her, yeah, I can only give her the basis. But strategy, I'm gonna pay for that. Are you kidding me? We don't do emotion when it comes down to marriage. We don't do that. It ain't about who you love. It's about who's gonna get the job done. It's about that's why I said if you want to invest, if you want the marriage of your dreams, if you want a good provider man, if you want someone that actually gives a crap about you and you want a foundation centric and rich union, invest. Now men are going to get mad about that because they are not they want to be selected because it takes away more women. You have to start investing. Yes, Kate, she said, I've already started coaching my daughter at 15. That's what I'm saying. You got to, this is about strategy for women because women lead with their emotions every single time. That's why we get with losers. We do. Now, if you lucked up, that's why I said that sometimes you almost luck up and get you a good one. And you be like, because it's a gamble for women that don't understand strategy. And when we're going into the what, sixth industrial revolution. So we're going more into humanoids. We're going into more robots being exposed to all these different auto tech stuff. Men are losing value in the industrial revolution space. Women are losing value. I'm doing this right here. Women are losing value when it comes down to baby making because we've stopped. And I told people this is when you lose natural or like natural selection is now in place. Natural selection is now officially in place. Why is that? Because now I get to choose what souls come in because we're back like resources seemingly, right? Seemingly are dwindling. It's about to open up. Did y'all see that the feds stopping the contraction on December 1st, 2026? Get yourself together. Barnes the floodgates opening back up again. The feds are stopping the tightening. So banks gonna be lending money out again. Money gonna be flowing again. The golden age is coming. With all this stuff going on, they're like, no, we need to open up the money now. That's happening. So when the industrial revolution is shifting and changing from labor, right? Because men's upper body strength was necessary in the first 3 to 4 industrial revolutions. Really, the first three because it was dealing with machinery, agriculture, and things like that. And then we went to when it went to tech and systems and things like that, and digital. That's when it started getting a little crazy. That's why I said like men were trying to hold on to construction, hold on to transportation and da 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 da. Like all these different things. They're trying to hold on because it's relevancy. And women seem to thrive with more digital stuff because you could be at home with your children if you wanted to, or you can be at home for yourself. You can be at home with your family if you want to. And for some women, this is like at home is where the heart is. Like this, you're comfortable. If you want to rest, this is the whole point of the rest conversation. Like, why wouldn't you want to work at home? If you're a mom, and this is why I say, like, even if you're a mother, and you like being a mom, and you enjoy being a mom, and you want to be hands on more with your children, then why wouldn't you want to bring everything, come into a home environment and make money for yourself and for your children? Men design cubicles in the office to get away from their family so they can feel like they matter. That's why affairs and all that kind of stuff was started at these companies. Work husbands and work wives and all that kind of stuff. Because they need to get away from home to feel like they're powerful and then come home and raise hell because whatever. But this is all the work that you have to do. So even when it comes down to your vision, even when it comes down to building, you got to know before you see it that it's going to work out for your ultimate good. It's the same thing even with strategy. When if you're unmarried, if you're single, you're lady in waiting, and I call them ladies in waiting because there are women that still desire. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But you got to understand strategy. This is a strategic women are too emotional to deal with those things because you lead with your emotions. So when they say women are emotional, that's true because we make decisions based on emotions. It's all about what I feel. It's not that's not how this system works. This system is about strategy and structure and systems. This is a patriarchal society, lady. You trying to lead with love and lead with This is capitalism. You got to know what you're doing. And you got to start shutting your mouth and letting people talk and use discernment. That's you have that built in you. So when you get in there, you just start yapping and talking. Talking, I just, girl, I just, let my true self come out, and that's why you get done up every single time because you always talking and you never listening. And when y'all go on these dates, you tell me, I gave him a list of questions, and I just sat there, and I know he looked at you back crazy too, and got up and walked out. You need to observe, do more observing than you do talking. Same thing with clients and stuff. Look how people move. Look how they operate. Everybody not ready for that. Everybody's not ready to change their life. Everybody's not ready for that. That's why I always tell people like you just wait a minute when it comes down to people saying I'm ready to work with you. I'm ready to work with you. Look how people mannerisms are. Use discernment about that. If your gut is telling you no, your gut is telling you check something out, check it out. It's the same with partnerships and relationships. You don't want to bring anybody in your life that is going to tear your emotional and your nervous system up. You don't need nobody doing it to you. Strategy. And I'm going to tell you this, you may have to say no more than you say yes. Even if your bank account looking crazy. Even if your money is low, your revenue and your cash is low. You may have to say this is why you need volume. And people kind of get, you know, nervous about that, but I always tell people that depending on how you are wired, like some people can just bring on anybody. I guarantee you, just because a person has money does not mean they're the right client. Be careful. Let these people talk and your discernment pick up. And stop saying that my discernment, I should have discerned and I didn't listen to myself. The reason why you're claiming discernment is because you let your emotions run the show. And it went by way you felt because your body is the physiological response to external stimuli. That's what emotions are. Emotions are is energy in motion at the time of the stimulus. So when someone is telling you all these good things, your emotions are running through and it's a rush. The physiological you, the body reacts first. It feels good about what the person is saying. And in fact, it feels so good that you skip over the one thing that they said that was a non-negotiable, but you looked over it because the rest of it made you feel good. But that one thing was what you needed to hear so that your intuition pick up and say, that ain't it, baby. That was all this is just a facade. Everything he said or she said was a lie. That was the truth right there, and you missed it because you trying to you want to feel good, but everybody ain't perfect. Nobody is. Desperate energy is the worst. Never ever get to a place of desperation. You understand? Even in your business, you need a pipeline. YouTube, are you with me? This is about you and your experience. We have a group intensive coming up on the 2nd of December, writing intensive. We also have, if you want to, what is it called? Upgrade your subscription here on Substack. We have our virtual meetup that's coming up. I'm getting ready to schedule that so that y'all can come, get ready for the holidays, and meet each other, build community there. We're gonna be on all on the Zoom together and talk about 2026. And it's be open Q&A conversations. But I want you to start thinking about how you moving. Just because people have money does not mean that they are the right fit for you. Just because they seem like they got it together, understand this is up. You got to think about the problem that they have. You got to think about the pain point that they have. And then if they are willing to do the work that it takes to get the outcome that they desire, it's going to take work. It's going to take you investing not just money, it's going to take you investing in time. It's going to take you investing in the attention to yourself to get it right, to master. You got to understand, you got to become a practitioner of your art. Stop blaming people for your mishaps and stop blaming your past. Because now you know. And what you know now, what are you going to do with it? You can't lay here and mope around. You can't lay here and keep blaming people. And this is why I get better at that. Because if you say this is what you want, that what you desire is going to take a different person than what is here today. So I'm going even here. I don't care how old you are. If you want marriage, you are entitled to marriage. You are entitled to a good marriage. You're entitled to somebody good, but I want you to also think about your mental state, your psychological status. Marriage is a business. I know we don't want to hear that. And a lot of men don't want to hear that because they don't even know how to run a business. They don't even know how to run themselves. They don't know how to run their own household. So if the honor of their namesake is attached to marriage, then it would be of good interest to them to make sure that they're what energetically prepared for that because that's a household. You're holding a house. Same with business. If I am running a business, that is my responsibility. And I have to do the work to make sure that I'm growing the business. And I understand that the economy is going to shift and change, and they're going to put out psychological narratives and things to jack with my mind to make me quit. Because some of y'all quit too much. You quit too fast. And then you're gonna say, because I can hear y'all say, "Well, Coach, you said you were leaving marriages. That's something completely different. I told you that's a man's game. Did you not hear that? That's not a woman's game. Why do you think you get proposed to, silly? He comes to you and asks for your hand in marriage. You have a right to say yes or no because you're saying yes or no to his life. There's a difference. What you're saying yes and no to is his life that he has right then and there. You don't look at the potential, you look at what is, and that's your problem. Because men go by they ride off your emotion because you're always looking at potential. You're always looking at the promise. You can't look at the man like you do your business. You can't look at the man like you do your like if it's a pregnancy and stuff. Like you it's not the same. Like you're pregnant. That's different. You ain't even seen the baby yet and you're in love with the baby. That's different. That's different. The man is coming to you. It's a disruptor. Think about what I just said. It's a disruptor. So you're going to him like he's coming to you. I'm sorry. He's coming to you to propose. Think about what I just said. He's making an offer. Did you get what I said? What happens before an offer is made? You have to be shown the benefits. Oh, here we go. Business. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. You look at the benefits. Look at the features. Look at the outcome. What am I getting for this? You're helping me with what? You're gonna help me get what? You're gonna help me why? How are you gonna help me? It just making sense. It's coming together, ain't it? It's starting to make sense now. So when he come to you with this, I see you as my wife. Hold on, partner. Let me see your offer first. Welcome to the tribe, Sean. What's T? Cause see y'all will get on people like me, like the coach. What's the offer? What she got? See, now you looking at the soul stacker, writing intensive. You like, ooh, I really need to do this, and you be like, no, this okay. But with a man, you say yes before he even tells you the features and the benefits, and him just, girl, what? He's showing you potential. He's telling you what he would like to do. He live with his mama now, but that's the offer. You're gonna go live with his mom. You're gonna go live in the basement and have his children with his mom. You're saying yes to that, but you can't say yes to your business. Coach, I ain't know. You know now. I made dumb mistakes too. I was dumb too. In my 20s, I was off too. So when y'all are advising your daughters and your nieces, when they say we're gonna get married, what's his offer? Because see, you have business sense. You can use this same analogy because you know marriage is a business. It is. It's an institution. It's a money stream. We know this. Labor, children are labor. Children are money. Every child that is born is money for the patriarchy. It's capitalism. It's labor. So you have to think about all these things when you're having babies for a man. Are you having babies for him or are you having babies for another man's wealth? Think about that. That's a hard, hard pill to swallow. That's a very hard conversation to have with yourself because if that man don't have nothing for you and his offer is trash, no, you're giving birth to another man for another man's wealth. So when your sons and daughters are going to work for Amazon or whatever, and it's good to give them experience, but ultimately, who are they building for? We gotta start asking ourselves these kind of questions. Ask yourself these kind of questions. What is the offer? And don't be afraid to ask that. What is the offer? What is he offering me? Cause see, a wife is this made up club. Wife, welcome to the wife club. What do they have? Are they happy? What's the offer? Do they have a life of bliss and joy and peace? Or are they always going through something and being put through tests and trials and tribulations? And God is testing them. And God has said, He said, but girl, he's cheating me all the time, but God told me to stay with him. You sound like a fool. I said it right there on camera. You sound like a fool. Why would I want to be with somebody that make my life a living hell and puts my body at and compromise my body and my health? Are you kidding me? And you're supposed to be protecting and providing for me, and you can't even protect my health. You can't even protect your own. You can't even practice discipline. When men are just they're not what they say, they're not monogamous in nature. I don't care. That's why they got to be disciplined. I didn't say he gonna look at other women. So that's fine because I'm gonna look at other men. I mean, you're not a statue. You're not a mannequin. But it's acting on those desires. I got my wife at home. I got children at home. It's cheaper to keep them. That's why when men got to do more. They got discernment too. They just don't use it. You got to have power, and a lot of men are not interested in it. This is why they're losing steam. This is why a lot of times they're just not in the. They don't want to understand competition. They don't want to compete, and I think that this is why building houses with women with different children, having all these children having all these children with different women is it feels more useful to them than it is about heading a household because they're mad at their mother and they're mad at women because they want to stop the process of women. It's a punisher for them. Some men weaponize children against the woman, and this is why they want you delusional. This is why they want you young and inexperienced in life. Because a woman who is young and have not had the proper coaching, mentoring, and nurturing of a father figure in their home will look to him as the daddy to please him as a father. This is also why the father, the god of this institution, is a male figure. Because if you disappoint the father, there's punishment involved. Because the masculine is about discipline. Think about what you're saying. When a man comes to you and say, "I want to marry you. I want to be with you." What's the offer? What is he offering in exchange for your identity? You're giving that up. You leave yours at the altar. Did you know that? That's a sacrifice. Both of y'all go up there to die. You put your identity on the altar. This is why y'all all of this is symbolic. But y'all, girl, we're gonna have an arch. It's an altar. That's why you up there first. A man ain't even supposed to look at you coming down the aisle. Did you know that? Don't make me preach this. Don't make me go there. He ain't even supposed to look at you come down the aisle. He's supposed to keep his face forward. Cause he dying as you're coming. Cause the old man is gone. The new man, when you come and meet him with her father, I'm hollering. This is all tied to business. This is all tied. You got multiple identities at the same time that's rolling. Y'all getting on my nerve the way y'all responding on this thing. Listen, when that bride come up, she put her identity on the altar. She loses the identity of her father's household and herself and goes under the ownership of him, the groom. Let me get off of here. You ain't ready for that. Y'all ain't ready for that. You're not ready for that conversation. And any man that's watching this, if you got your husband, why do you think that's true? What do you mean? Do you think that's true? And then he gonna nod his head and say she is right. This is all symbol. And you're just going up there. I want to get married. Are you ready to die to yourself? Because what you're asking for is to be owned. And there's nothing wrong with that. But ownership coming under the ownership of a man that is supposed to protect and provide for his investment. Y'all don't know that. Y'all didn't know that. It bothers me that a lot of women don't understand it. So when women are taking men into their homes, talking about we're gonna live together, he gonna move in with me, you sound like an idiot. That's your son. That's not your husband. That's off. There's some father issues going on right there. You don't ever, 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 ever do that. And if you have done it in the past, don't do it again. You don't do that. You are the woman. You ain't desperate. And stop acting that way. Stop behaving that way. You don't want love that bad. Love yourself. Love yourself enough to be under the ownership of someone who actually gives a crap about your well-being. Because your children become his, which is why your last name goes to him. Your last name, his last name becomes yours and your children. Think about what you're saying. See, you're not taught this. You're taught to lead with your. I did what I felt. That's why you're in the predicament you in. And it's dire consequences because you're responsible for what you know and you're responsible for what you don't know. See, when I coach the entire ordeal because this affects how you show up and stuff. So when you want a business and you say you want a business and you say you want to grow a business and you want to scale a business, I always ask women who are uh, um when they have husbands and I say, well, how does your husband feel about you having a business? Is he willing to invest in you? That's not getting their business because I know that that's tied because what she does is going to affect him. And when I have women who are wives and the husband was so used to being the head of the household and making all the money in the family, and that woman, when she get locked in and she surpasses him, I've had that to happen. I've had clients that did that. I've had clients that went above their husbands. And depending on the security, inner security of the masculine, he either gonna see that as a threat because now you're coming from daughtership. Now you looking like him, and he don't like that because now you messing up his foundation of security. Because he's like, where you going? The immediate y'all have heard me talk about this before. When a woman starts making money and she starts surpassing him in fun and money, and the first thing he say is, "Where you going? Are you gonna leave me?" You might as well get ready. You either gonna quit that business to go back under him and shrink back under him because you don't want to mess him up because you care more about his feelings than you do about your own self-actualization and your own destiny, or you gonna say by any means necessary. Because there's a reason why a lot of times we surpass because especially if you're a woman who wants children, your maternal instinct takes off. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about because you think about the children. That's why I say you got to be careful. This stuff is deep. This stuff is so deep. This is why women, when they start surpassing their husbands or their mates, it's a maternal instinct that kicks in because you're thinking about your children or your unborn. And the children ain't even here, but you already thinking about that because you want to make sure everybody good. And they get threatened by that. Y'all don't think about this stuff. You don't think about that. This is why women, you got to be careful of what you say yes to. Every man ain't ready for you to be the best version of yourself. Peep game. It's deeper than wearing pretty dresses and sultry looking in the camera and all this kind of stuff. It's deeper than that. That's not feminine. It's siren energy. It's seduction, right? And there's nothing wrong with that because it's a part of the feminine essence. It's a part of how we manage in the world, right? It's a weapon that we use to get by because it's the truth. Seduction is one of the ways that we get what we want. Duh. Absolutely. Look, don't let this sweater fool you. I've used many a times. I'm a Cancer, so I have Scorpio and Piscean. I know how to turn it on, baby. Trust me. I know ball. Okay. I got pictures, and you be like, Coach, that's you? I know ball. I was gonna say, look at how Italian look how Italian women act with their men. Talking some women, black women too masculine. Look how Italian women, and I love Italian women by the way. Do you know how Italian women are? Look at Latino women, how they cuss their men out. But see, they like that because it's another language. But as soon as we get buck and go off, it's a problem. Look at how other women treat their men. Dominican women, same. I have a friend that is Dominican. She don't play. She don't play. Her and her husband, they're the cutest, but she don't play. See, we're the only ones that coddle. We coddle too much. And I would even go to my white sisters. Some of them coddle too much. And it's almost like some women are taught to take men just doing anything they want to do, right? To have that daddy energy and to just take that daddy energy. But it's really, really, really something when a woman knows her power and a man honors that. There's a difference. There is a difference. And I'm not saying yell at your man. I'm not saying that. But your man should already know they should know your countenance. They should know your they should know. And I'm gonna say this to him, get ready to get off of here too. Um, I've even heard women say no, men, I'm sorry. I've even heard men say things like, "Oh, this woman just always takes my card and spend it, and she always got me spending all this money and got me doing all this stuff around the house and da 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 da." They like that. Did you know they like that? You don't get on their nerves when they do that. That's bragging. Did you know that? Did you know when they complain about how much you have stuff coming to the house and how much you order and all this other stuff? It's really a compliment. Now unless he getting mad, like mad, and then you just got a cheap man. But most men, when they going, this woman stay Amazon packages coming to this house, and every time she come in the house, is a bag. She had a bag. Baby, we gotta talk about the finances. Ugh, baby, you win the spot. You win to spend what? They like that. They like that. Keep them busy. Keep them on their toes. It's a flip. That's a flipping energy. Like, huh? I didn't know it was that much. It was. It's literally bragging. Sean said it's dry bragging. That's exactly what it is. It's dry bragging. It's literally that. Give them problems. Give them something to do. This is how you keep your man. But Jay, where your man? I didn't say I had one. That just because I ain't got one doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. A man is easy to get. Okay? It's so easy. They're so easy to get. I I can make one phone call and be married tomorrow. It's not that hard to get them. It's the easiest thing to get. The men don't get offended. It's just the truth. It's the truth. I mean, it's just the truth. I can make one phone call and say, "Can we meet?" I'm just, all right. We can go. We. I've been missing you. So easy. It's literally the easiest thing ever. So please don't think like, "Where's your man? What do you mean? Where's it? I got him. All I got to do, I can make. Like I said, I really can make two phone calls. To be honest, I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you. Now I'm definitely not bragging because that's easy. Like I could totally be Mrs. Somebody. Do you know how many times I've been proposed to? 3 times, 4 times, married twice, been proposed to 4 times total, including the two, and probably 6 or 7 times I've been told I'm married. I'm married. Okay, y'all gotta go. I gotta work. I miss you. I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. Okay, y'all gotta go. I gotta work. Right in intensive. Let's go. All right. Take care, Substack. Bye. Bye, YouTube.